All right, everyone, welcome back into another fantasy golf video. Going to be touching on the round one preview here for the SONY Open, breaking down who are the best first round leader bets, some showdown picks, and get into some prop coverage. But first, I want to start out with taking a peek at the projected weather. And so we'll show you guys the daily right now. On Thursday, that's really the biggest day in which, there could be some weather concerns. Now, looking at the hourly report on the PGA Tour site, we can't see too far. Basically, the earlier tee time guys are most likely going to get a slight advantage, very minimal. It's going to be like 11 mile per hour winds by the time they tee off. Obviously, throughout the day, it gets up to 18. That's when the wind actually does start to play a bigger factor. Under 15 or so, it doesn't play as big of a factor. So definitely do want to favor, I think, the AM tee times guys there. I would say with it being a full tournament field event, however, there is the potential for maybe there to be a weather delay. And not weather delay, a darkness stoppage where the players that have the PMT times have to start in the morning on Friday to finish up their first round. And so maybe those guys will get the better weather advantage. All in all, I think we're looking at either the earliest tee times or the latest tee times. Potentially, I still think we want to be favoring the earliest. So what I want to do is I want to get into the first round leader / showdown picks for round one. That's basically going to be the same. Again, guys, what I want to look at is going to be the early tee times for now. I think that is where there's going to be the biggest advantage. What I want to do is I want to take a peek at round one. And what I really just want to take a peek at is going to be showdown rank. That will also basically tell us who's going to be the most favorable for a first round leader rank. And so right now we can go down the list. These are going to be the top round one showdown plays. Hatton, Jaeger, Kirk, potentially. I don't know if I agree with that. Benny Ann, Siwoo Kim, interesting there. But we just kind of go down the list. A lot of these players are going to be players that I'm already on this week, which by all means, I typically like to favor players that I'm already on in round one. And so like Brian Harmon, I'm going to be on. Brennan Todd, I really like. Andrew Putnam, I like. Adam Svensson, I really like. Hatton, Jaeger, Benny Ann, those are all players that I'm already naturally ending up on. And so I like the fact that they're popping up data-wise for first round leader / showdown ranks. So those are going to be players that I'm already putting into my builds. And so I think that those are going to be good starting points for you guys in round one for showdown purposes. Now, I do want to take a peek just at the first round leader in general. So we're just going to take a peek at the betting page. What I want to do is I want to specifically get into bet type. We're going to look at first round leader. And again, I think we can look at the early tee times only. And so there we go. And one thing I did here, guys, is I added in an optional metrics. We have a bunch of different ones that you could add in there for sports books. I have it defaulted to kind of the most popular, but I wanted to toss in the rank. This is going to be the 9 to 5 rank in there. And so what I want to see is I want to see the golfers that are, ranking out the best. So whether or not like you agree with Chris Kirk being a top showdown play or first round leader bet, that's kind of fine. It doesn't really like you can play them if you want. All in all, though, probably not a bad sort of first round leader bet. You can get them at 40 to 1. Jaeger at 66 to 1 is going to be appealing on BetMGM. For Hatton, if you're betting him to first round lead, DraftKings 35 to 1. Those are very good odds there. Benny Ann 45 to 1. Siwoo Kim, decent discrepancy, 50 to 1. We can get him there. Any that are really popping up. Yeah, Billy Horschel, I don't want to touch. I don't think he's a good first round leader bet. But 80 to 1. And then there's two ways you can go about attacking showdown slates as well. Like if you don't want to trust the 9 to 5 data, that's fine. I won't take offense to it. You could literally just come in and sort by odds rank as well in this betting sheet. And that's an easy way you could go about attacking a slate as well. So you got Matt Fitzpatrick, Hatton, Russell Henley, Brian Harmon. This is how Vegas sees it playing out. Again, I don't mind that if you guys just want to go based off of the Vegas data, by all means, be perfectly fine with you guys doing that. So I feel like we have a good idea of who to attack first round leader wise and who to attack showdown wise. And so before we get into the prop picks, I do want to touch on some 3-ball bets that are out there. So Benny Ann is favored to win by a heavy margin. We get that. Hatton favored to win by a heavy margin. Those bets might not be available, but we got a bunch that are kind of favored. So like Jaeger, I think is a good play. We already saw he was a good first round leader option. So by all means, we probably should be looking at him as Hatton, as we should be with Benny Ann. Again, like those players were already popping up as good first round leader picks, so it makes sense why they're popping up here. Brennan Todd's another one that's popping up as a very good option, and I would agree with that. Russell Henley, maybe not the best because Billy Horschel was slightly popping up. Again, I don't agree with that, but there are some pretty good options, it seems like, if you guys are trying to do some 3-ball bets. And just for what it's worth, guys, these can all be found under the golf tab. Basically, if you click into the betting or leaderboard / showdown tab, there's a plethora of other tools in there. I haven't gotten that added into the golf tab on the 9 to 5 website. I probably need to do that, but all in all, it's going to be under here as well. So now let's go ahead and get into the props. Now, the first thing I want to do prop-wise is show you guys one prop line discrepancy that we're getting here right now. That's going to be Hideki for strokes. Personally, I think the edge here is going to be on PrizePicks to bet the overstrokes on Hideki. He's someone that has been struggling. This is a tournament in which he could potentially struggle. And I'm actually curious. Hideki does have like the middle of the day tee time as well. So that is something I think we should be paying attention to when we are doing prop bets. I guess, okay, sorry, this is my time. So it is an early tee time. It is an early tee time. Apologies for that. But on average anyways, the tournament average is 68.86 for the scoring average. And he's projected to get 68.54. So again, I do think that there's an advantage there to bet the over on PrizePicks. Now, if you guys want to do a little bit of a middling opportunity, hopefully he just shoots 68. You can, where you bet the over on PrizePicks, bet the under on Underdog. I'd be fine with that. You know, that's not a bad approach to go with. But that is the biggest edge I think that we have is on PrizePicks to bet his over. So looking at it as well, guys, I do think Billy Horschel for over his strokes as well is one that's a pretty good one. You know, Billy Horschel, we haven't seen him play well all too much recently. So all in all, 65 does seem to be, I think, a good over. The data likes that as well. But to me, those are the two best prop bets on PrizePicks right now. You could do Noren. I don't love that. Let's flip it around. I do think Harris English for under his strokes is a very good one as well at 69. JT Poston, a lot of people love him this week in DFS. And if they do, right, he's probably going to be chalky in DFS. But props betting wise, it makes sense to bet the under there as well. 65.5 or 68.5. That's a low number there for him. So I don't mind that. Underdog wise, we'll take a peek. Yeah, there's nothing much underdog wise that's popping up. Maybe Eric Cole for understrokes. Actually, I think that's a pretty good one. Eric Cole's been playing pretty well recently. We can see on PrizePicks it's at 68. And one thing you guys will notice is there's not really consistency between the lines between PrizePicks and Underdog. It really seems random. Like, why is Harris English favored at 69 here? And then why is like Eric Cole favored at 68 here? I'm not comparing the two players. I'm comparing the line. Like, why is PrizePicks lower there and why is PrizePicks higher here? Like, that doesn't make sense. Now, I do just want to show this on the PrizePicks tab as well. I am using a slightly different calculation right now for this. I would say that this is in beta because I'm trying to set like a % likelihood for these bets to hit, which is very difficult to do when you don't have the actual sports books data. The only data that we have coming in is the PrizePicks and the Underdog line, which I don't love. And so what I have to do to make these lines is I have to take a look at the average. I don't want to get behind it too much, behind the current too much with this, but pretty much I'm comparing what the player averages, taking that against the group average and then seeing how much strokes they gain. Pretty much it's like strokes gain scoring is what it pretty much would be. And then I'm also taking the average line that PrizePicks and Underdog are giving out and then comparing it against whatever. There's a big nuance thing to it, but that's how I'm getting the edge or the EV %, if you will. And so it's very difficult. Again, this is kind of in beta. I will say I do think Will Zalatoris would have been someone we would have been trying to bet on if we knew that he was healthy, as well as Akshay. I think, well, not that he's healthy, but I think at 4 birdies, that's pretty solid. Now, the event average is about 3.9. So I'm kind of valuing these as all pushes, to be honest with you. At 4.0, like I'm kind of valuing those as all push. Do you really want to bet those? Probably not. And as you guys are going to see the strokes stats, no one's really popping up too much there. And I would argue right now, the stroke stats that we are getting here are probably more accurate than the birdie or better ones right now. So again, it is in beta. I'm working on it. I just want to call that out to you guys. And this is just for PrizePicks right now. I have Underdog included in there shortly. So just giving you guys a quick kind of sample Showdown build. I don't think I'm going to end up on this, just so you guys know. But all in all, like the Henley one is kind of the tough one there. I really want to, I probably will rebuild this. I started with Harmon and Hatton, couldn't make it work. And I really want to prioritize the AMT times. Or again, you probably like, if you're not doing that, like if you want to toss in, I would say none of these guys, they're all kind of scrubs. Maybe Vince Whaley, like for like hoping that there's a weather delay and there's just not enough players on the back end tee time wise that I feel comfortable like trying to target. So for me, I do want to target the AMT times. And so I do think going Hatton makes sense. Benny N has a pretty early tee time. He's like one of the earliest tee times of golfers that are expected to play well in round 1. You know, Aaron Rye, I guess I wouldn't be shocked to play well. Denny McCarthy, you know, you could play. Don't mind that as well. But that's kind of how I came across this. And I do want to show you guys PrizePicks slip as well. Well, I kind of have 2 here. So I don't mind this one. I don't like the fact that these are being valued, I would almost say, as like pushes. Like it's very tough for me to see these guys getting 5 birdies, like all of them. And so like if you don't want to use these, I get it. Again, very tough to see them getting 5 birdies. It could happen. And then here's one that's okay. Billy Horschel. This is where it's weird, right? We saw he's one of the best round 1 showdown plays, but the data also thinks that we should bet the over 68.5. So all in all, this is not a slip that I particularly love. I'll show you guys one that I like better. And so I think it's slightly better. Like to me, Benny Ann, again, has one of the earliest tee times of golfers that are expected to play well in round 1. So I think betting him less strokes makes some sense to me. And then the tough one, Harris English. And I say tough because again, like the wind is projected to get a little bit more difficult. Typically speaking, guys, when the wind gets over 15 mile per hour, that's when we start to see it statistically start to make a difference in scoring. Like, and then once it gets to 20, even more, so like double that. And then once it gets to 25 plus, it's like double that. So it's a small difference, but it could definitely be the difference between a stroke or not. So all in all, it does feel like a lighter day today. Props. But that's going to be all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to give a like and subscribe. I do appreciate that. Hit that thumbs up as well. But seriously, guys, subscribe to the channel. Trying to get to 500 as fast as possible. Appreciate you guys being here. If you guys want access to any of the tools, head on over to 9to5sports.com. Thanks for watching. And as always, let's keep cashing.